Hi, let's talk about your pantry and how sometimes it can be an inspiration for a meal, but if it's chaotic, it can be a frustration or even make you feel unhappy to walk in there and try to figure out what's for dinner. I have a couple of quick ideas that might help you, just some thoughts to be processing, some guidelines I use that maybe a couple of them you could adapt, maybe a couple of them don't work for you. You use whatever you need to use. The first thing that you want to consider is that there are a couple of tools to the trade that I always love. I am a big fan of clothespins in the pantry. Chip clip bags are fine. Whatever you like to use. Sometimes I feel like chip clip bags are big and bulky for like things like a half a bag of chocolate chips. Or for me, I use a lot of gluten-free flours that, I have a lot of different bags open at a time, and I like to know that they're airtight. This is just one of my inexpensive, always have on hand. They're actually in my kitchen junk drawer so that everybody has access to them when they open up a snack and I want it closed up. So I love those. I also like labels in the pantry. In a perfect world, it would be a label that you can erase and change because this is a pretty fluid area. Every 6 months or so, you might go through this and, the kids are on a craving or they're eating a ton of this meal. It's summertime maybe and you're grilling all the time. You're buying these types of foods, and maybe the winter you're buying this type of food. So if you have these are fantastic, by the way. They're chalkboard pens. They don't smear. You can write on them really neatly, but they wipe away with just a little damp cloth. I have them on my baskets, and I like them a lot. So that's important. The other thing that you want to have is baskets or containers. I have a couple of different ideas for this. First of all, I did invest in a couple of very attractive glass jars these are items that sit on my countertop that I use all the time. Remember back to my kitchen post where I talked about prime real estate? The things that I use every single day get my prime pantry real estate. I make oatmeal almost every single morning. This gets to live on my counter. I don't want to have to move 5 things every day to find the oatmeal. I want to be able to grab it, make it, and put it back easily. Part of that mess that happens in the kitchen is if everything that you use on a daily basis is hard to reach. These were about $8 each. I've had them for a couple of years. I have 4 of them. I think they look really pretty. I didn't buy, glass jars for everything, but just kind of the front. Look, I need things to look cute and pretty. I don't want to get done organize something and have it look just okay. So even though I'm not going to go out and spend a fortune on glass jars, I might buy a couple just to make them work a little bit better. Just something to keep in mind. Now, you could also upcycle something. This is a little container that I got from Costco. It had snacks in it, and I painted it with just some craft paint, super cheap, 50 cents at Michael's. I hot glued a ribbon across the front, put a little paper in the back, snacks in there. It's super simple. You could go to Costco or someplace where they have a lot of boxes. You could save them up. Now, don't save up all your boxes, okay? I mean, you can get a little crazy with the box saving. I know, I've been there. But if you're saving them for a specific purpose, you're okay. You could do a whole series of these, and wouldn't they look cute in the pantry? You kind of want to think about your scope. What do you put in there? The other thing you want to think about is, does your pantry have a lot of room going up or going back? Here, my pantry goes deep. If I put everything, just shoved it in there, then in order to find something, I'd be digging way in the back. So the things I use most often get to be in the front, in a basket. Oh, by the way, this is also stuff the kids need access to so that they don't destroy it every time they go in there. The stuff that I need less often or only adults need to access tends to go toward the back. Now, you could think of it like if you had a walk-in pantry, it'd be like what's in the very front. Easiest to get is the stuff you use most often. Higher shelves, lower shelves to the sides. Anything like that would be stuff you use less often, or refills of things. That's another thing. All 15 boxes of macaroni and cheese don't need to be front and center. You can do 2 and put the rest someplace else, and then grab 2 more as you're organizing your pantry. Something to consider. So my plastic bins from Target, $2.50, $3 a couple of years ago, they help me containerize and keep things. You can containerize things in your pantry a couple of different ways. I have seen on Pinterest people put all the things they need to make one meal together. So in other words, if you were making spaghetti, you might put your spaghetti sauce and your noodles together and label it Tuesday. So if your brain works like that, you could do it. That's not how my brain works. My brain likes things together. So I have one basket for pastas, I have a basket for snacks, I have a basket for baking. We can talk a little bit more about that at another post. But what you're going to want to do in order to clean out your pantry. So now I've given you kind of all this background. Here's how you do it. Here's how you're going to set it up. Number 1, you're going to give yourself a chunk of time. I always think of projects that I'm doing in 10 or 15 minute chunks. The pantry's not like that. It's a big project. You're going to take everything out. You're going to wipe everything down, and then you're going to put it back. So it's probably going to take you 2 to 3 hours if your pantry's in a gnarly state, and I don't judge. But give yourself a chunk of time that you don't need to be preparing a meal, or you're going to get interrupted, because if you have that all over the kitchen and then somebody needs something or you have to stop, it can create a big mess. Clean your kitchen first. So get all your dishes away so that you don't have a dirty sink full of dishes before you start this, or else you're just compounding the problem. And then start to think about the tools that you're going to need. If you've never purchased anything to organize or to containerize in your pantry, maybe you set some time kind of planning that first. Go to the store, look at how much baskets cost, think about what your stuff is, kind of see. So set aside a good chunk of time. Take everything out of the pantry. The next thing that you're going to do is edit. You're going to get rid of anything that's expired and donate anything that's been in your pantry for 6 months that you haven't used. Or you can make it that week. If you promise me you will make it that week, if it stays in there longer, I will come and find you. Just kidding. So you can do it if you're going to use it right away, but otherwise give it to charity, go drop it off, let somebody at the shelter use it, free up that space. So edit out the things that you're not using. Begin to group like things together, however that works for your brain. Either meals together or pastas together. However you want to do that, begin to put like things together and containerize them. You can make baskets that are cute. I have a little video on this is just fabric that I hot glued on there. It's nothing fancy. And labels. I mean, these are super simple things. Containerize, bring like things together. Now, once you've got those together, when you put them back in order of highest use. That will help you see it. And you're going to be able to see, okay, I buy macaroni and cheese every time I'm at the store, and the kids haven't eaten it in 4 weeks. Either we need a mac and cheese fest, or I can stop buying mac and cheese. You get to pick. That's not up to me. I hope that this kind of few tweaks or thoughts helps you feel prepared to go into your pantry, bring things into a way that works for you and not the other way around. I will talk to you soon. Bye.